They call it Metroid Dread because I would dread doing your laundry after playing this game.
Wait, he's gone.
After exterminating a species of parasitic flubber in the last game,
Let's party!
terrorist Metroid Girl begins an investigation on a pre-damaged Lola Seiyu. Because the Emmy, a team of horrifying death robots sent beforehand by the Jedi Council, have ghosted everyone. Fun fact, an Emmy is also what Steve Carell will never win for his performance on The Office.
It's true, but he shouldn't say it.
On arrival, she's choked out by a plague doctor. Which I personally wouldn't mind. This strips away her abilities and turns her into a firecracker popsicle. Upon waking from an alien-induced hangover, she scans her surroundings before beginning a mission to behead Foghorn Dickhorn. Since Sheamus is a bad bitch who's done this a million times before, I like to imagine that she has a pyro mindset. Where we see weathered temples and hear the snarls of frightening beasts, she hears chiptune music and sees Disney World. You've got Animal Kingdom, Blizzard Beach, Epcot, and SpaceX, which Grimes is intimately familiar with. Regardless, the little zip zaps and zoops of your arsenal and the planet's ancient architectural rumblings mix with the chirps and croaks of the wildlife to create an immersive and auditorily satisfying experience that reflects the symbiotic relationship between nature and technology. The music can sometimes distract from this, however. Opting for a middle school band tone instead of, having good and memorable music like Super Metroid or the first Prime game, Breath of the Wild has a minimalist soundtrack that shows you how powerless and tiny you are, yet encourages you to explore the massive, whimsical world around you. Whereas Dread seems indecisive with its vibe, playing its heavy metal jams when bumfuck all is happening. Why is the game's one generic action sequence track used for every boss fight, except for the final boss, where they start playing Kids Bop on the lowest volume? It's like Doom if the sound designers were tone deaf.
Sing song when I'm walking home, jump up to the top, LeBron.
Metroidvanias are notorious for prolapsing anuses with their Pan's Labyrinth overworlds. Maybe a pillow princess like yourself is going to get lost, but me, a scholar, never really felt trapped or confused on Dance Dance Revolution. Sure, the map is morbidly obese to say the least, but the segmented zones, elevators and gondolas, and fluid movement of Samus make it easy to recognize and memorize pathways before reaching them quickly and efficiently. Unlike other games in the genre, the fact that the different colored blocks and doors are labeled on the map by the ability you need to destroy them means that Miyamoto himself is getting some sloppy toppy tonight. Let me take you on a little journey. Back in 1945, after the Allied armies had reclaimed most of Europe from the Nazi regime, Hitler and his wife committed suicide to avoid being caught by the Soviet Red Army. Do you know what his last words were before he died? He said,
Ich möchte Ihnen mitteilen, dass ich zu Ihrem Schutz.
And Nintendo still holds that sentiment close to their heart.
He's out of line, but he's right.
If one of the core mechanics of the game is that you need to lemon press the blue raspberry Kool-Aid from these Halloween candy looking bitches just to sandblast the Nightmare Death robots, why is each battle the exact same? At least include a platforming section or bounce the brain around a little so I'm not just pointing at the ceiling and holding the button down mindlessly. The Chozo are super fun to just... But again, they're repeated 69 times. Nice? I don't think so, actually. When it comes to main bosses, this game really only has 5, which isn't a lot compared to its contemporaries,
Or even previous games in the franchise.
but they each incorporate unique gimmicks, fun platforming segments, and tense timing-based attacks, making their battles smooth, memorable, and satisfying, especially Spider Godzilla and Birdman, even if the latter will make you rip your pubes out until you figure out how to read him. Thankfully, there are plenty of fun ammo and health upgrades to collect before facing him, but only if your definition of fun is bursting a blood vessel in your fucking brain. Some of these dumb fuck speed block challenges were designed by the Monkey Poofling community and require more precise timing than most Cuphead bosses. How the fuck are you gonna make a wall jumping puzzle more difficult than King Dice on Expert? Are you stupid? Seriously, I was getting chest pains from this shit. Why is the Shine Spark button the same as the jump button?
This is why most game developers deserve a life sentence.
Luckily, the enemies are both visually interesting and fun to kill. None are particularly challenging, but in certain circumstances can feel like shitting out a hemorrhoid, especially when you're on a ledge, and 16 of these flying sharks are trying to slap their uncut dick in your face. Or if you're rolling through a cavern in ball mode and can't shoot or defend yourself against these grub trains, There's a mode in this game called Dread Mode, where even getting hit once warrants a game over. And personally, I believe that mode is only for deranged murderers
And sadomasochists.
because some of this shit is simply unavoidable. But then you have these guys, which is where poop comes from. You're wandering around, you think you're fine, and then suddenly there's nightmarish, devil-worshipping Satanist music playing, followed by the click-clack of Wally's cousin Grunga, so you start Looney Tunes skedaddling in the opposite direction through these maze-like facilities covered in Silent Hill fog. You can trick them with the cloak ability, and they'll sniff you like a cute little puppy, but sometimes they walk in that direction and push your shit in anyway. These intense hiding and running segments creatively contrast the game's exploratory nature and give the same thrill as a horror movie. They almost remind me of the Guardians from Skyward Sword, which I fucking hated, but in a good way. The subtle variations in their attack patterns and movement is respectable, however, but not potent enough to make each encounter feel unique from the last, which is why Emmy should return in the sequel, but with more complex rooms that feature falling platforms, wall and floor sensors, and multiple robots trying to dom you at once. There are plenty of cool, unique abilities that you collect from killing them, but what makes this a bad thing is the fact that the control scheme was designed by the same species of extraterrestrial who created the N64 controller. You have to be a professional circus performer with the agility of a chimpanzee to perform some of the actions in this game. Want to use an ice missile? Get into downward dog position above a twister mat, hold down the R button while spinning the left joystick and mashing the X button with your left pinky while pushing on the prostate with the big toe on your left foot, then bring your right hand to green and recite your national anthem backwards. What the fuck? If you're going to include a billion jillion different moves, at least give them a scroll wheel like Doom does with its weapons. When running or jumping, however, parkour ninja Samus feels as smooth as a freshly buttered baby about to be dropped in a witch's brew. 10 out of 10. Samus is an interesting character because she is both badass and boring.
Outside of her fisting obsession, of course.
So many writers think that a female character isn't strong unless she's antisocial. Like Link, arguably the most progressive woman in gaming. We've heard her pretty voice through talented actors in the past. So why is the only sound she makes in this game that of childbirth? At least her arc of succumbing to the corruption of the X-Parasite was fun to witness, and culminated in a fun escape sequence, where once again, you blow up a fucking planet. But as the X-Parasite had infested the planet, my X chromosomes invaded my brain and made me feel empowered. Seeing the sway of her hips made me want to put on a skirt and roller skates to serve strawberry daiquiris to college students in a California bowling alley. The other characters are devoid of personality, much like most Discord moderators. You have the stock Dictator, Big Bird, and the stock Mentor, Hawkeye. Sure, they're fun to look at, but they're not winning any Oscars or Halloween costumes for children this year. Metroid Dread's story is told the same way I recounted my own stories to friends after coming up with them when I was in elementary school. There's a bad guy and he's got a laser and a sword and he's gonna take over the universe, and the good guy's gonna kill him and save the day, aka an exposition nightmare that ruins the immersion. One thing I do love in gaming is when you return to old areas under new conditions that alter the gameplay. This game executes that beautifully, with the planet's fluctuating temperature levels, and when the X-Parasite is accidentally released from Elon, meaning that all the enemies you had been facing up to that point are consumed and replaced by their X-forms. All in all, Metroid Dread is an action-packed, replayable, and challenging game. Though a few glaring flaws prevent it from being great, I'd still recommend it as something to try once. Much like Butt Stuff, I see it as a precursor to a more impressive release down the line. Something with an emotional hero's journey shown organically through gameplay, an improved control scheme that doesn't require you to be Goro from Mortal Kombat, and some collectibles that don't cause an existential crisis. So lace up your space boots and shake up that space booty, because the newest entry in the Alien vs. Predator franchise, Pew Pew Bang Bang, You Died, Aw Dang, gets a 7 out of 10, motherfucker! Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed that video, please drop a like and subscribe, as it really helps with the channel. And stay tuned, because we've got 2 more videos coming next month with a few surprises sprinkled in between. Peace out, bitches!